皆さんこんにちは、SOL留学です。本日はオーストラリアでの移住永住に関する大きなアップデートがありましたので、そちらにつきましてお話をさせていただきたいと思います。今回オーストラリア政府の発表によると、特定の職種に対してさらなる永住権取得の、オプションが増えるといった趣旨の発表がありました。今回は特にこちらに関しまして介護士、エイジドケアワーカーでの、発表がありましたので、こちらにつきまして、弊社マイグレーションエージェントのナモさんとお話をさせていただきたいと思います。
こんにちは。
それではナモさんよろしくお願いします。はい、ということで、今回こちらの変更点につきまして、エイジドケアワーカーでの、スポンサービザのレイバーアグリーメントストリームというものが使用可能になったという話があったんですけれども、今回このまずレイバーアグリーメントストリームというものがどういうものなのか、またどういったアップデートがあったのかについてお聞きしたいと思います。
Australia, the immigration always providing the TSS visa option for the overseas workers, and then employer sponsor those overseas workers, and the overseas workers can work in Australia, and finally they can access to the permanent visa later on. But this TSS visa is very limited based on the occupation. So, for example, if you get a TSS visa as a chef, then you can apply the permanent visa. But if you apply TSS visa as a cook, then you cannot apply visa because chef is under the medium and long-term occupation list, and cook is under the short-term occupation list. Labor agreement is not a visa. The employer or specific region negotiate with the Australia government, and they have a special agreement with the government. So employer cannot giving the sponsor visa for certain occupation, but based on this labor agreement, they can still giving the visa opportunity for the overseas workers, and they can sponsor, and overseas workers can work for them. The government already mentioned about the 3 occupations. The first one is a nursing support worker, and second is a personal care assistant, and third one is aged or disabled carer. So those occupations, they cannot apply the TSS visa and or ENS permanent visa because those occupation is not under the specific occupation list before. However, aged care industry really need the people who work as a this occupation. The shortage is very serious, so that's why the industry and government and union, they negotiate together and they finally make a special agreement. So those 3 occupations, they can apply the TSS visa now, and then they can apply the permanent visa later on.
So I think we often get some question from our clients that how we can see that employer is under the labor agreement or no.
So usually, if you get into the department website under the labor agreement sector, you can see which company get a labor agreement. So which means if your aged care say that we're gonna sponsor you, and then you can apply the permanent visa later on, but if they don't get a labor agreement from the government, then they can't actually offer that.
So we better to check in advance before.
Yeah.
Okay. はい、ということで、まず最初に今回のこのレイバーアグリーメントがどういったものなのかについてお話しさせていただきましたが、今回こちらのレイバーアグリーメントを使うにあたってよくある質問として、今回このエイジドケアワーカーは他の職種と違って、クライテリア条件がかなり低く見積もられているという話が上がっています。こちらよく言われるコンセッションと呼ばれるものですが、こちらについてもお話をお聞きしたいと思います。
So when government actually released this information, I was really shocked. Seriously, because normal TSS visa requires a formal qualification which is related with the occupation, as well as they need at least 2 years full-time work experience. However, in this aged care industry labor agreement, government only require you to have the qualification, at least certificate 3. Or if you don't have a certificate 3 or related qualification, you can still apply this visa based on 12 months full-time work experience.
That's good.
Yeah, which is really surprising to me. Then the requirement is really simple, and then everyone can prepare, and then everyone can try to get a sponsor visa if they can find employer who has a labor agreement. However, in this point, you must make sure if you using your overseas home country qualification or only 12 months work experience in Australia, then you must pass the skill assessment. But regarding the skill assessment, we haven't get a very detailed information. But if you complete the Australian certificate 3 qualification, then you don't need even skill assessment and you don't need work experience. So at the moment we got a lot of inquiry, like a Japan team as well, that a lot of people are asking about how to study related course and what is the related course.
Oh yeah, so that's quite easy. But how about the English requirement for those occupations to apply for visa?
Regarding the TSS visa, English requirement is also much lower than the normal TSS visa in this special agreement. So usually when you apply the TSS visa, we require the 500 each IELTS base, but this labor agreement only require you to have overall 510, but speaking and listening must be 510.
Okay. Okay. So we know that there's so many like concession things for the TSS visa, but how about when they transition to the ENS visa, which is like permanent residency?
Really good question. So TSS visa requirement is much lower than the normal TSS visa with this agreement, and then even ENS application required less requirement as well. For example, let's say about the English requirement. Usually, a lot of TSS visa holders cannot apply the permanent visa because of their English skill. Because ENS, the permanent visa, we call the ENS visa. ENS visa requires 6.0 each. But this under this aged care industry labor agreement, the ENS visa only required IELTS 5.5 overall.
That's a big difference.
Yeah, there's a big difference actually. And also, previously, if you holding the TSS visa, you must work at least 3 more years with that employer, then you can apply the ENS visa, right? But under this special agreement, now you can only work extra 2 years under the TSS visa, then you can get into the ENS permanent visa. The one thing that you have to make sure is there are many different concessions, benefits to apply this visa based on the labor agreement. However, a lot of people are asking about the age limitation. So government didn't give any concession to the age. So that's why even ENS visa application, you must make an application before 45 years old.
はい、ということでここまでは、アップデートの内容、またそのレーバーアグリーメントとビザの申請の条件、内容についてお話しさせていただきましたが、ではそれを踏まえた上で今後、実際にこちらのコースを取る場合、もしくはこの職種でビザの申請を目指していく場合、どのようなプランニングをしていった方がいいのかについてお聞きしていきたいと思います。
As I told you about the concessions, about the skills and qualification, the Australian government only requires 33. So this course is only 6 months duration, usually. So if you are currently holding the 408 visa, the COVID visa, or graduate visa with different occupation, graduate visa, or you are the dependent of the graduate visa, then I think you should be a little bit hurried to take this certificate 3 course without changing your visa. No, you don't need to change. However, if you are holding the working holiday visa or student visa with the other course, you may consider to apply the student visa with this specific course. This specific course. However, a lot of students will be asking to us that, can you apply visa after course? No, this labor agreement is not a visa. So we using the TSS visa, which is employer sponsor visa.
So we need a sponsor.
That's right. Employer sponsor visa means you need a sponsor. You need the employer to sponsor you. So in reality, it's really not easy to find the employer. So that's why you need enough time to show your ability and to make this preparation. So if you're planning, then maybe only certificate 3 course in Normandy is not I think answer that you make maybe 3 and 4 package. Then during this 1.5 or 2 years time, you can have the all the experience
Yeah,
and
at least
qualification.
half year to 1 year work experience.
Yeah, that's
to be
right.
able to get a sponsor.
Yeah.
I also have so many cases that due to the shortage, like so many students got the placement during the course, and then after the graduation they get a job from the placement.
Yeah.
So getting the course is quite important.
Yeah, that's right. And then even though you apply the student visa, government yesterday announced that even though you're holding the student visa until December this year, if you are working in aged care industry, you can work on full time. I mean, you don't have any work limitation in aged care sector by December this year. So it will give you more opportunity to work
in this year.
Yeah, that's right.
はい、ということで、本日は、オーストラリア政府から発表のあったエイジドケアセクターでのレーバーアグリーメントストリーム、こちらのアップデートにつきましてお話をさせていただきました。まだまだ、こちらの情報に関しては正式に発表がないものであったり、これから新たなアップデートがあるものもございますので、それ留学の YouTube アカウントでは、これらの情報や今後の政府からのアップデートにつきましても随時発信をしていきますので、ぜひチャンネル登録の方をよろしくお願いいたします。またこちらにつきまして何か特定のご質問やご不明点等ございましたら、ぜひSOL留学のウェブサイト、各ソーシャルメディアもしくは公式 LINE からご連絡いただければと思います。それではナモさん、本日はありがとうございました。それではまた次の動画でお会いいたしましょう。ありがとうございました。